So, hello everybody, good evening or good afternoon or good morning, depends what time you're doing this video. We're going to do a 45-minute, nice gentle introduction to Yin Yoga. So it's a good idea to have a blanket or a cushion. And if you've got a bolster, I've got my tiny bolster in here tonight, but usually they're much bigger and thicker than this. And you can use a bolster. So have your little props hanging around, and let's get started by just having a little lie down, connecting with our breath. So find a comfortable position, and maybe that isn't on your back for you. Maybe you like a different position. If you're on your back and you do have lower back issues, sometimes it helps to support the lower back by putting the feet on the mat and letting the knees drop together, or again having that bolster underneath the knees to take a little bit of the pressure off there. So we settle down onto our mats. Make those little micro adjustments. Feel the body start to settle. And then we start by focusing on our breath. Just paying attention to it without any need to want to change it. And we let the breath settle all by itself. And actually, as soon as you lie down, the heart rate starts to lower, as it doesn't need to pump the blood quite as much. So the breath settles all by itself. We focus in on the movement of the breath in the body. Feeling the rise and fall, the expansion and the softening. Breathing in, belly softly rises. Breathing out, belly softly falls back. We feel the air coming in through the nose. We feel the body on the mat. And we become present, fully here in this moment, from breath to breath. Just give yourself a little body scan here and just check in. Remind yourself of any tight areas, any old injuries, new injuries, and just being especially mindful as you move into those areas. Being kind to yourself. We want to be healing, not hurting. So let's draw those knees in now. Draw the knees in, but out to the side. Hands on top of the knees, and let's just open into the ankle joint by circling the feet outwards, away from each other, and then back together. Nice and slow, soft practice tonight. Change direction. Good. And then bring the knees and the feet together, hands still on top. And let's just have a small circle with the knees, just opening into the lower back. And let's change direction, go the other way. And then take the knees out wide again. Maybe hands on the backs of the legs, back the thighs, or on the shins, or on the feet as you flex the feet so the toes are drawing towards your shins and your feet are looking at the ceiling, the bottoms of your feet, the soles. So we're going into Happy Baby. So your knees are right on the outside, being drawn down towards your armpits, and your hands are placed wherever it feels right for you, whether that's on the back of the legs, the calf, the ankles, the feet. And then we just settle in here. Now if you want, we've just started the practice, so you can have a little sway here before we go into our more still postures. Or you can just hang out here and be still. Rest the arms against the legs. As long as you're feeling something in the groin and the top of the thigh. Start to come back to your breath, making it that mindful practice. And the more you can connect with your breath, the easier your practice becomes, because the breath helps to relax you as you start to slow down the breath. As the breath moves down deeper, perhaps into the body, maybe into the belly, and we get those nice soft belly breaths that help the central nervous system. We start to relax, we start to move into rest and digest, heal and restore. Five more breaths here. Let the body soften with each exhalation. One more breath. And we slowly release. Never move too fast out of these postures. And we take our first rebound. So one of the things that's different about yin is that between each pose we have a little relaxation, a little moment to allow the body to feel the benefits of the stretch, the compression, the stimulus to the body. So we just lie back, we relax, we soften, and we notice whatever we notice. whether that's a little tingling sensation or the flooding of warmth or coolness in the body. Energy moving. Let's draw those knees back in. And we've got a choice now as we give a little sway side to side. I'll give you a choice on how we're going to come up to seated. So if you struggle with your lower back, you might just want to roll onto a side and use your hands to come up to seated. If you are feeling strong in the core and dynamic, then you might want to lift the legs, bring the hands, palms down under your bottom. Always lift the head because this engages your abdominal muscles and so helps to protect your core and your back. So we take the legs just a little bit down, not all the way down to the floor. We breathe them back up and then we push with our hands and our body up, and they call that the hinge motion. We pull ourselves literally back together. Okay, so let's come into butterfly. So we have our soles of our feet together. We want a nice soft diamond shape, so if I turn around here, so the legs are fairly long, they're not in towards the groin in a typical cobbler's pose, but they're a little bit further away. So we're in a nice long diamond shape here. Again, you can use those props. If you feel like you're falling backwards, just prop something under your sitting bones. It can also be useful for sciatica and just helps to prevent sometimes you bringing sciatica on. So we find the posture that works for us, whether you're using props or not. We want to sit nice and tall at first and just make that space here in the rib cage, and then if everything feels good here, you can fold forward nice and softly. We don't want to be going too intense in a yin practice, so you want to be at about 5 or 6 on your scale of 10. You want to be feeling something in the target area, which is the groin and the inner thighs, maybe a little in the lower back. As long as you're feeling it in those target areas, it doesn't matter how far your head comes down. So you can rest here and you can let your head completely release down and allow your neck to get a little stretch too. So yin is different. We find the pose, we stay in the pose for, it can be 1, 2, 3 minutes, depending on how much you've done before, how much yoga you've done, how much yin you've done. When you come into your first yin practice, you might struggle a little bit possibly with holding them for 3 minutes. So you can start with 1 minute or 2, and always feel free to come out earlier than what we're doing here tonight. If it doesn't feel comfortable to a certain degree, then you may be gone too deep and you might want to back off and come out a little bit earlier. We've got 5 more breaths here. Just see if you can soften down through the body. Let the muscles release. Let the body be soft. Just marinating really in the posture. One more breath. And again, we softly, slowly move out of the posture. We find our rebound posture. And we allow the body some time to respond, to do what it needs to do. If you feel a bit achy, just have a little sway before you settle onto the floor there. And we just take some breaths here. We have the luxury of having a little relax between each pose before we go on to the next. And that's one of the nice things about yin, is there's no rush, is we're not flying through the postures, taking a almost tortoise pace. So let's draw those knees back in. Have a little sway, have a little hug in if you want. And then making your way back up again, whichever way works for you. Remember to lift the head always as you come up in that hinge movement. Let's go straight through into shoelace. So you have many options here. Let's start with the left leg long and bring the right foot over and see how that feels. That might already be enough for you. You should be feeling something into the right hip and right buttock. If you're still okay, what you can do is you can turn your foot on its side and draw that leg further over. I'm going to move over a little bit here. Draw that leg over so that the knee maybe is over the top of the knee below. And again, feeling it in that right side, outer edge of your hip and right into the buttock. Or you might be able to do full shoelace. So I'm going to turn around here so you can see what that is. So we've got the knee over, we literally come over to that side and we draw the other foot behind so that you maybe have got knee over knee or almost. As long as it's not feeling too intense, then you can stay here. It's quite a nice posture to do, almost like a little meditation. Or if you're really, really super flexible, you might be able to hang out forwards there. In full, I prefer to stay like this. Don't worry if you're still in half, because we're going to change the legs around. So remember which leg is on top at the moment. And we're not going to spend as long here. Maybe a minute and a half, and then a minute and a half on the other side. So maybe close your eyes. Feel into the body. So remembering what yin is about. It's about stopping, being still, marinating in the pose, relaxing the muscles as much as you can, softening them, deactivating them. And this helps us to get right into those joint spaces and the ligaments that protect the joint space and the connective tissue that wraps around all of that. That helps to keep your joints stable and strong. So stillness, softness in the body, and time. We give ourselves time to let the body soften. So we're going to move now to the other side. So gently moving to one side if you're in full shoelace. If you're in half shoelace, we're just going to bring that foot over. We're going to stretch the legs in front for a moment. Maybe just give your legs a little rub, or anywhere on the body that feels like it could just do with a little bit of rub. Bring the blood cells back in. And then we're going to move straight to the other side. Now sometimes you can have a rebound on these side ones, but we're only doing the 45-minute practice tonight, so we'll do the rebound after we've done both sides. So this time the left leg is on top, and again remember you can just keep the foot on the floor and hold it in here if you're already feeling something on this line here. If not, again, draw that foot further away so that knees are almost on top. And if you're going for that full shoelace, lean to the side, drag your other foot round, and then reposition. And I sometimes put my hands down, lift my hips, and then pop them back down. Sometimes that just feels better. Make those little adjustments, decide where you want to be. If you've already gone too far, then back off and release a little bit from the pose. So about 8 breaths here. Settle, softness, and it's useful, I find, to focus in on the breath, the belly rising and falling, and a nice soft exhalation. A nice soft exhalation that sighs down through the body, releasing tension. There's nothing really to do here other than to sit, to breathe, and to notice anything that happens in the body. And in that way we keep ourselves safe. We notice the moment there are changes, maybe little niggles, and that alerts us to come out. And I reckon that's possibly about 8 breaths now. So we'll release slowly, softly, slowly, in the easiest way you can find to release from that posture. And then let's take another lie down, but let's take a lie down on our fronts this time. Come to lie down on our bellies. So I'm just moving something out of the way there. So make a little pillow little pillow with your hands for your forehead. Or if you don't like that, you can turn your head, your cheek onto one side and wing same knee out to the side, if you prefer. Just settle the body into our rebound. Notice what you notice. Can you feel any tingling, any warmth, any response? Few breaths. Just going to turn myself around so my microphone is this end and I don't want the volume to go suddenly quiet on you guys. We're going to come up into Sphinx now. So Sphinx is a lovely back bend, highly recommended by a lot of back specialists for back problems. So you want maybe your elbows under your shoulder, but if that feels too much for you, you simply walk your hands further away from your body so that your elbows aren't under your shoulders. And it's a nice soft Sphinx, this. So again, we're not activating like Cobra, where you come up and you're activating with the arms. It's soft, soft, soft. So again, you can use your bolster here. Much bigger bolster than this probably you'll want, but you know, you can pad the elbows onto that, use it like that, or you can put it right underneath and use it like that. So there's lots of different options. Again, what we want to do in each posture is find our Goldilocks position, the one that works for us. And once you've found and you can settle in a little bit, you've got again a choice with the head of lifting the head up and extending the compression into the neck vertebrae, or you can have a neutral position where the spine is aligned, or you can drop the head again and lengthen the neck vertebrae, or you can do a bit of all three. Sometimes I start with my head up, and after a few breaths I go to the middle, and then after a few breaths I go all the way down to the floor. But the main target area in this is your lower back. So anything below your waist, you're probably feeling just a little, I wouldn't say pressure, but it's described technically as a healthy compression. So we're squeezing some of the lower vertebrae in the opposite direction to how they normally get squeezed or pushed. So we're between each vertebrae, you've got that lovely gel that keeps the vertebrae from collapsing or from rubbing on each other or from rubbing on nerves. And so when the gel gets pushed out in one direction only, which we do just generally in our daily life because we don't really do any back bends, gets pushed in one direction. And when we do these lovely back bends, we start to push the gel in the other direction to even things out. So very good for the back, but you want to be, if you've got any back issues at all, you want to take it easy with this and maybe not stay in for this long on your first time. Maybe only stay for a minute or whatever it is that your body feels is the right time. I would start low and wait for a day and just feel how your body feels after that day. And if it feels fine, then you did the right time. If it feels a bit aching, sore, you might have gone too long. And you might need to scale the time back and just build it up gradually, week by week. Put an extra 10 seconds on or whatever. And this is a great pose for watching TV. I always say get down on the floor as much as you can. However old you are, if you can still get down on the floor and get back up, one of the best things to do for your body and keeping yourself mobile. So let's slowly release from this. We come straight back down onto our bellies. And again, we use the hands for a pillow, or I really prefer at this point after that back bend to turn my cheek, wing my knee out. You get a lovely decompression down the spine here. The spine can go nice and long and soft. And we have our rebound moment. And just put your mind in that target area. See what you can feel there now. Lower back. And then we're going to slowly push up into child's pose. So your knees can be together or they can be apart. Take a nice high, rounded, soft one if you can. If you can't sit on your knees like this, if it's really no good for you, then you come straight onto your backs and you do it reversed. You do it upside down. You bring the knees in like this, and then there's no pressure on the knees, but you're still getting the lovely soft rounded feeling through the lower back here. So whether you're in child's pose or whether you're in knees to chest, take a few breaths here. I'm just checking on the time so that we can finish appropriately. So a nice little mini practice tonight. And sometimes that's all you need, just a little check-in, a little bit of softness, a little bit of mindful breathing. So we're going to come now. If you're not on your back, if you're still in child's pose, I want you to come onto your back, start circling your knees, easing out now as we move towards our last posture. So we're going to go for recline twist, which is really an excellent one to follow Sphinx, because we started with our forward bends with the butterfly, and maybe you did it a little bit in shoelace, maybe you didn't, and then we did our back bend Sphinx, and now we're going to have a little reclined twist through the spine. So you've got to decide here again what feels right to you. Your arms are coming out to the side. They can be long and straight, or they can be bent at the elbows. And the feet are on the mat initially. Maybe they're wide. You can try this one first. Feet wide, drop the knees to the left. Now if they're just hanging up here somewhere, that might not be so comfy. That might just be dragging on all of the lower back and the nerves. So you want then to be able to prop something under that so that it's not hanging and pulling on the lower back. Or you find a different position. So I'll show you another position. Feet are together this time. And then you drop, so you stack the feet one on top of the other and the knees one on top of the other. You might be able to get them both over, but again, if not, bring something under that thigh. Support your body so that it can release and soften. There's no point in having the knees hanging in the air like that. So I'm being bossy now, but I just want to protect your lower backs. So always prop if your knees don't go all the way down to the floor. Another option is if your back's fine and you're not feeling any problems with it, you can draw the knees right in, the feet off the floor. Right shoulder, you want to stay on the floor though, as you take the knees over to the left. So as long as your right shoulder feels comfy and it's not hanging in the air, and there's not too much intensity through the spine, and remember again it's 5 or 6 on that scale. And again, another option is to turn the head the opposite direction to your knees to get the full twist up through the neck vertebrae as well. But try it and see what it feels like. If it feels weird or just not very comfy, then don't do it. Or only do it a tiny bit. So again, we go up in little sections and we feel into the body. We never push or force into the practice. This posture especially should be just really soft, really comfortable. We want to start relaxing down as we move towards Shavasana. So each breath now, following each breath, using those big exhales to release a sigh down through the body, soften anything you've got left, any area that's still holding on. Just breathe in and out of it. Eventually they give in, the muscles. That's why we spend a bit of time here. Might take 5 breaths or so before you feel a big chunk of muscle let go and you slip a little bit deeper. Nice big breaths. And then we draw ourselves back slowly back to center. Maybe have a little hugging with the knees. Maybe here's a nice place to have a sway or lift the head and squeeze the body together before you decide. Well, let's just take a moment here, just a couple of breaths, and then we'll go to the other side. You might feel the difference from one side to the other. So making your way over to the other side, whether you've got your feet on the mat or not, and again using any props to help the body soften and relax into this. Knees to the right. You can turn your head to the left if you like. Use those big exhalations, those soft exhalations. Let the body soften. So this is extremely good for relaxing your nervous system, central nervous system, as we cross through the body. Most of the central nervous system is in the gut. So when we twist through, we're not just twisting through the spine here, we're twisting across all those abdominal organs and the gut, which is its own microbiome, and helps to support our immune system and our general health and well-being. So a win-win posture. Let's slowly release from that. Give ourselves a bit of time to sway or make any little adjustments we need to before we take our final rebound or Shavasana. Make sure you are staying warm. Blankets, cushions, eye pillows, whatever you need to make sure your body stays warm just for a few minutes longer as we relax and feel the benefits of the practice. So get yourselves comfy. Lying down any way that feels right to you. And so we've come full circle, and we come back to the way we started by settling the body on the mat, feeling the breath moving in the body. Noticing whatever arises from moment to moment. And that could be physical sensations on the surface of the skin, or maybe deeper within. But there's nothing left to do now. No effort required. We simply let the body rest in its natural state. Maybe you'd like to become aware of a beautiful, soft light. Beautiful, soft light starting in the abdomen. And each time you breathe in and the abdomen swells, the light grows and grows and starts to stream forth in all directions, filling every single space within your abdomen, every cell filled with healing light and warmth. And the light bursts forth, streaming up into the chest and the heart, wrapping its nourishing warmth around the heart space, continuing to stream up and out as it reaches the shoulders, softly, softly, pouring down both arms filling with light, elbows, wrists, hands, fingers and thumbs, all full of light, and the light continues to stream up from the chest, through the neck and the throat and the back of the shoulders and the neck, streaming all the way up into the back of the head, crown of the head, until the light softly spills down over the face like gentle, warm sunshine. And the light continues to stream out from the abdomen, down through the legs, down through the knees and the calves and the shins, spreading its healing warmth as it streams into the ankles, the soles, the heels, the toes, the big toe, and all the way over the front of each foot, until the whole body is full of healing, warm, nourishing light. Whole body full of light. Start to bring awareness back to your body on the mat. And those points of contact between you and the floor. The backs of the feet and the legs, the lower back, the backs of the shoulders and the arms, the back of the head. And start taking more active breaths in and bringing some little movement back, whether it's fingers and toes or whether you want to stretch, take that morning stretch, or draw the knees in and have a little sway. Any way that's right for you to transition back up slowly to seated. And we bring the hands together at the heart space, and we bow our head in respect for our own practice and all of the teachers have kept the path illuminated. And we say, Namaste. Namaste, thank you very much. And if you're watching on my YouTube channel, if you could like it, if you do like it, of course, then like it, that would be great. Or you can leave a comment or subscribe to follow me. Thank you very much, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.